Thumbnail designers, cooked. Graphic designers, cooked. YouTubers? Some of us, yeah, cooked. At least that's what people are saying. And it's all because AI image tools just got crazy accurate. They can take assets out of images, they can copy your face to somebody else's body, even blatantly steal thumbnail ideas and styles. And a lot of people are saying that they're just gonna use AI instead of thumbnail designers. So what's gonna happen to the thumbnail designers? How is the algorithm gonna change? Most importantly, can you take advantage of that change to blow up your channel? The answer is yes, by the way, if you know what to prepare for. So let's talk about what will happen, what opportunities it'll create, how YouTube will handle the situation, and who will get caught in the crossfire. Number 1, the flood. With these AI tools, anyone can make good looking thumbnails. Objectively, they catch the eye. Now, I'm not gonna say they're good thumbnails because there is a difference. And that difference is something that AI just can't pull off, which we'll cover here in a second. But yeah, the barrier to entry for good looking thumbnails will be so low that YouTube will be flooded with them, which means crappy thumbnails won't stand a chance. And when I say crappy, I mean asset clutter, unreadable fonts, clashing colors, faces just shoved in where they don't belong, logos. That's not branding, that is taking up space, and it's the reason that people won't click, if they don't already. But that's okay, because the majority of these AI good-looking thumbnails, they won't get clicked either. Why? Well, just because a thumbnail looks good doesn't mean it is good. And pretty soon you're gonna see a ton of creators complaining, why didn't my thumbnail get clicked? It looks just like the big YouTubers, it looks just like Mr. Beast. I call them the 3 C's. Create curiosity, convey the idea, and catch the eye. And with this whole AI thumbnail situation, way too many creators are gonna be so focused on the last C that they'll forget about the other 2. Looks good, right? Yeah, so people are gonna click it? Nah. If the viewer can't figure out the value or purpose of your video, be it entertainment, education, or connection, they're not gonna click it. Say it with me. Pretty pictures can't fix crap content. And good thumbnail designers know that. Good thumbnail designers bring a psychological edge to their concepts, and they know what will or won't work. Now, good thumbnail designers still use AI. Like this video right here, I had the idea of me looking like I'm homeless in front of a brick wall. So I went back and forth with the vidIQ tool. I found something that I really liked. So I took it in a blender and I recreated the background, and then I sat right here on a green screen, and then I put myself in the thumbnail. It was my idea, and I used AI to streamline the process. You can use AI and not have to take others' idea. You can use your imagination. And good thumbnail designers, I don't think they're going anywhere. Well, actually, there's one thing that can happen that would make all of that wrong, but I'll get to it last because it makes none of this matter if that happens. Anyway, I see a lot of creators saying finally, as if this is some sort of solution for them having crappy packaging or not being able to afford a thumbnail designer, which I get, but if they had just taken the time and a little bit of effort to understand what makes a good thumbnail, it doesn't need to be complicated. It can be simple. Simple works. Simple can get people interested. And actually that is step 1 of using this whole AI thumbnail situation as leverage to blow up your channel. Let me explain. Number 2, the rebellion. Back when I first started on YouTube, there was this trick that made thumbnails pop, and it was everywhere. White outlines. Every single asset separated with a thin white stroke and the occasional soft drop shadow. Shortly after the white outlines, our collective eyes were drawn to deep darks, popping colors, cartoonish contrast, and noise reduction to the max. I'm talking super smooth, uncanny faces. And everybody started doing that style, and everybody was getting results from it. But it was around that time that we started to take notice of a different style. See, within every trend, there thrives the rebel, the based contrarian that goes against the grain and sticks to their preference regardless of outside influence or performance of their content. There are plenty of others that want to be that contrarian, but the moment they catch wind of that rebel, off they go to join the rebellion. And the more this happens, a secret opportunity starts to take shape. And it's something so pivotal, so game-changing, that the only name I could come up with is the anti-trend. Sure, there's potential in trends if you catch them on the way up, but there's more potential in the anti-trend if you embrace it from the start. So, these AI YouTube thumbnails. The flood takes over and there's a sea of ultra-realistic, high-contrast, studio-lit, whatever the popular prompt is that week. So which one gets clicked? Much like yellow in a sea of black, contrast is ultimately what catches our eye. And when the front page of YouTube is filled with high-resolution, vibrant noise, something as simple as a screenshot of your video is gonna stand out. Pair that with an authentic personality, and you've got the makings of the leader of a rebellion. Number 3, the response. Let me ask you something, creator. Can you tell if something is AI or not? I'm gonna assume you can, because otherwise I can't make my point. What if these AI thumbnails were so realistic that not even you could tell the difference? What then? Well, it'd be pretty easy to click on crap content, wouldn't it? It'd be pretty easy to feel like you're wasting your time on YouTube, wouldn't it? You might even want to go somewhere else. Well, if that happens, I think you and I both know that YouTube won't take that lying down. So, how would they respond in this situation? If eye-catching thumbnails repeatedly lead to crap content, well then the click doesn't matter very much, does it? Just like previous outdated metrics, CTR could possibly hold less influence on how a video performs. Alternatively, YouTube could go back to that 3 screenshot system, but like randomize it so it couldn't be gamed. That would suck. Or even more complicated, they could implement a copyright system to claim stolen thumbnails. I'm sure that wouldn't be a logistical nightmare. By the way, as far as the stolen art aspect and AI turning Ghibli into the next Bitmojis, that's a whole can of worms that I'm just not gonna open in a video about YouTube, but I will probably talk about it on our podcast channel. That's where our conversations have more of a chance to go in depth and get perspective, because like right now I'm just talking to you and you don't say much. Copyright claiming thumbnails. I can't even imagine how that would work. But what if there were a simpler way? What if, for some reason, in 2021, YouTube saw the possibility of this happening? What if, for some reason, thumbnails weren't a reliable way to provide the viewer with a preview of the video? What would YouTube do? Well, I'd imagine they'd have to come up with some kind of feature to gradually implement so the viewers could slowly get used to the ideas of thumbnails not being there anymore. I'm just speculating. No matter what happens, thumbnails, screenshots, no thumbnails, the one metric that will never lose importance is watch time. Anything you can do to keep your viewer watching will always be rewarded. So here's what you can bet on. Storytelling will become the competitive and necessary skill. Video ideas will always be important. The more you know about psychology, the better hooks and structure your video will have. And the presentation of your video is where you can shine creatively, no matter what happens with this whole AI thumbnail craziness. But if this all still seems too overwhelming, well, you can always bet on shorts. I mean, there's no real thumbnail issue there, and you can make a good bit of money. I made a good bit last month off shorts, and I talk about it all right here in this video. I share the graphs, I share the analytics, and I talk about that pesky flat line we all deal with and how to get over it. So, go watch it!